Hey folks, it's January 23rd, 2025, and it's Northmeister's Realm presenting you a Northmeister here in the golden age of America. Trump is back as president, which is a wonderful thing, and a lot of good stuff is happening by his administration. All right, so what we're going to do first here is news in the flash. We got several items today. The first is very good news in the sense of the ice race. Trump will place. Actually, let's start out with Trump will place tariffs on. Trump spoke to the World Economic Forum. Let me start out with that. The WEF, which has also often been an enemy of American interests. There, he told them that America is going to return to a manufacturing giant um, through the use of tariffs and other policies that he's going to implement. So that's a very good news. This is something I've been advocating since I was basically a child. When I seen the ruins of factories that closed down and went overseas in my own area, in upstate New York, it was devastating. Why are we doing this? It was our policies. So he announced that to them. He also said that he's going to demand lower interest. See, I wrote this stuff down. Lower interest rates and oil prices. Um, Lower interest rates are to encourage development of the economy, to encourage banks to make loans, to encourage companies to take out loans, and that will lead to higher job growth, but also the development of this country. Uh, Good, those are good policies. The next thing is lower oil prices. He wants lower oil prices worldwide. Lower oil prices will lead to lower costs for us here at home. One of the reasons why our our home prices and inflation has occurred is because of high gas prices, which are the result of high oil prices. You put more oil into the system, you refine more of that oil into gas, you get gas prices down to historic low levels. The oil companies will still do well, they'll still make profits, and the gas companies will still make profits because they'll have increased sales because of lower prices. And the cost of transportation will come down. And if that comes down, then companies can start lowering their prices, which will benefit us, the consumer, in the marketplace. So that's a good idea. Also, in association with this, he said that that we will become the AI and crypto capital of the world, and this is something we need to aspire to. AI and crypto are the future, and I believe, and so that's a good news. Um, Next is next news item in the flash. So the first news item was great, wonderful news. He spoke to WEF right to their faces and told them in no unclear terms, America's back. Our policies are going to be America first, which means they should go out and be Britain first, and Germany first, and Italy first, and France first, and Guyana first, and Kenya first, and South Africa first, for example, Argentina first. That you should put your nation first. You should put these policies in place. We'll negotiate the differences, and we'll have a better world, a world of nation states where, as I've said before, and I will continue to say it, is a firewall against world tyranny. So I do believe Trump's doing the right thing. The next news item is a new study. Too much smartphone use. This new scientific study says, and there's a lot of scientific studies out there, so be careful about studies. One time, they said milk was bad for you, then they say milk was good for you. Blah 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 blah. You have to be careful of studies. But they say that smartphone use by teenagers will cause hallucinations and aggression. Um, that might possibly be true. I think if you use too much of anything, that could occur, and certainly with TikTok and other new apps, the violence that's in a lot of the apps, this could cause um, greater aggression and greater hallucinations. So that's something that we need to look into. I think we need to reorient here in New York, in our schools in New York State. I don't like Governor Hochul. Is somebody that we have. But she's one of those woke Democrats. Um, Not as bad as some, but certainly not great. And she bans cell phone use during the day, at least in our schools. And I actually agree with her on that. Other than for emergency use, they shouldn't be opened and gotten into during the day at school. School should be about learning, not being on your cell phone. So we need to learn how to deal with technology and our traditional society, uh, which we need to continue. if we were going to have a society, if we're going to have a civilization. So, on that. The next news item in a flash is Saudi Arabia makes a $600 billion trade and investment pledge to Trump. This is again the Trump effect. This is the new golden age. The other day he had pledges from AI investors, $500 billion worth, another $600 billion worth, being pledged by another state, another nation, Saudi Arabia, to America, and this will help us as well to our development and to our becoming prosperous once again as a nation. So I applaud that. Over 50,000 in evacuation orders in the LA fires. They're starting up again. This is in north of Los Angeles where this is occurring. That's a tragic situation out there. Trump is going to North Carolina with another tragic situation that was ignored by the Biden administration for the most part and screwed up by FEMA. And we'll discuss that in a moment. Um, and he's also going out there. He'll get it fixed. Yeah, he's a leader, where Biden apparently was not during the last 4 years. Somebody else was running that administration. The next thing is CNN is cutting more than 200 jobs. Uh, Mainstream media is dying. It's doing so because its political bent is not in alignment with America's. It's not at the center. The center of America is really MAGA, with a kind of a right wing to the right and a left wing to the left. Um, that it isn't represented right now by anyone really, because the leftists that control the Democratic Party are far, far left. And if the Democratic Party would just be left wing MAGA, they would do much better in elections and would be competitive. But I think they're going downhill as well. But anyway, yeah, they're cutting over 200 jobs. They're losing their viewership. They're not able to make a profit. You still have to make a profit in America to survive. And if you can't have viewers, advertisers are not going to pay big bucks to support your program. I mean, crazy individuals like George Soros and his organizations might support you and keep you going. They've just taken over under Biden radio stations in an effort to destroy the conservative radio network that was out there for a long time. Rush Limbaugh, for example. So, so that's also good news. Um, the decline of mainstream media. We need a new mainstream media in America, run by citizens. Pentagon will send over 10,000 troops. It is reported in total to the border, which may be on a more permanent basis. Right now, they're sending an extra 1,200, from what I hear. So 1,200 now, but it'll be 10,000 in the long run. That is necessary. That is needed. Something I've always believed in. The Army and the Marines should be down there, along with Border Patrol, to keep it a safe border. There's no reason for what's happening for the invasion. Airlift supports for efforts to remove illegal immigrants across the country will be implemented by the U.S. military as well. We need full-scale efforts. U.S. Marshal Service, FBI, they're all hands in on this effort, and Trump is keeping his promises to the people. Um, ICE raids are now sweeping across the nation in regards to that. And again, like I said, it's not just ICE, but it's going to be the U.S. Marshal, it's going to be FBI, local law enforcement that will cooperate, and there are also threats from the Trump administration that if local officials do not cooperate, there will be consequences. They are breaking the law. They're breaking federal law, which is the supreme law of the land. It's higher than state law and it's higher than local law. And there will be consequences. They'll hold them accountable. And I hope they do. I hope they go in and arrest them for violating federal law and go in there and the president just simply needs to declare martial law in that area, send in the military to kind of surround it, and then send in the ICE agents and marshals and others to round up the illegals there. It's as simple as that. And I mean that's something he could do. That would be the extreme thing, but they need to start comporting with federal law. The next item on here is Judge blocks birthright citizenship executive order. This is something that just flashed across my screen before I came here today and did this program. So I'm not sure of all the details, but I knew this would happen. Um, there is a constitutional amendment that was written right after the Civil War to ensure that black folks, black Americans in the South, who were once under slavery by the plantation owners, in their society, would because they were born in the USA. would be citizens of the United States. They wouldn't be denied their citizenship. That's what the amendment was for, or part of the amendment, and it's been used ever since. As you know, if you step on American soil and have a baby, it's an American. We're the only nation, really. I think there might be one other, but it really does that. It doesn't make sense to me. To be an American citizen, you should be born to an American mother or have an American father. That's what the law should be. If they need to pass a new constitutional amendment for that, then so be it. But they need to take this to the Supreme Court and argue that. So that's something new. We'll continue to follow it. Again, I don't know all the details on it. There's an America First Act in Congress, something that they should pursue and pass and send to the president to deny all illegal immigrants welfare and other benefits. This act will put it into law. I think an executive order should be done in this regard as well. I don't know if one has been done that way. I don't think any of them have addressed that. But if you're not here as a citizen, you shouldn't be receiving benefits, and you shouldn't be receiving welfare or any sort of support. You have to give every incentive for them to stay here and destroy that incentive. And if they don't have support while they're here, like cards with $30,000 on them or whatever, SNAP money or whatever, food stamp money, which is what I heard was on there. I don't know if that's true or not. But if they don't have those incentives, they're not going to want to stay. Not only that, if we give them an incentive to turn themselves in, that and they'll get a flight back home, maybe that's what they'll do. And so they're not going to get benefits anymore, and they're not going to get jobs because anybody that hires them is going to be prosecuted fully under the law. It's another thing that they should be doing. We can clean this up. There'll be a lot of self deportations. We need to have legal immigration. That I disagree with Trump on legal immigration. By the way, I'll discuss that at a future date. Um, Especially the H-1B program. But yes, one moment.